As white people, is our deepest fear that we are inadequate? Or is our deepest fear that Black excellence is powerful beyond measure? It is their light, not their darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who are they to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are they not to be? Look honestly, and you will see how they demonstrate love as a reflection of our unwarranted hate. Our playing God does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about positioning ourselves and controlling the narrative so that Black and brown folks feel insecure around us. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of the Spirit that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us, no matter what your skin tone is. And as we let our own light shine, by atoning for and repairing the harm of our ways, as we learn to serve and see the true greatness of Aboriginal and Indigenous cultures and human beings around us, we unconsciously give white people around the planet the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. From this point, we can build a new world that is connected to the planet and each other.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now I want to give credit to the original creators of the clips in this video, and of course thank you guys for always supporting the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe and join the conversation in the comments, because I really want to hear what you have to say about this.
You wrote, racism isn't a white people only thing. Okay, I'm guessing you knew that the concept of race was invented by Europeans in around the 16th century in order to subjugate and oppress African and indigenous people, right? Since that time, can you name one place on this planet where people with pale skin were oppressed because of the color of their skin? One place.
Why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
The answer is the liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is. But with that nigga nose, it can only be niggas. Why would somebody vandalize a whole face and only vandalize one part? Nobody wanted to knock an eye off or take an ear off or no chins missing. No, just the nose.
Child, imagine having a head start and you still losing. But here's the plot twist. You think you winning. My grandma would say, bless their little hearts. 'Cause white supremacy really think it's winning. But baby, they made the people that's gonna beat it. Now stick with me. You ever work out with weights on, put on a weighted vest and ran laps? That's what racism did. Put weights on our backs, weights on our ankles for generations. But you know what happens when you work out with weights or a weighted vest? Oh, y'all know. It makes you stronger, skilled, faster, resilient. Baby, the weights didn't break us. They trained us. Baby, they've been sitting back with a 400-year head start, kicking their legs up, thinking mediocre is a trophy. Meanwhile, we've been in the trenches, baby, getting it out the mud, creating, learning, building. And baby, that's why our excellence is a transferable skill. That's why we keep showing up better, smarter, louder. And baby, this ain't just talk. Look at the wealth gap. That's proof right there. The system is stacked. But despite that, Black entrepreneurship is still growing. Black businesses are still fueling communities, our art, our music, and culture. And the world, baby, they still trying to catch up. Child, they rig the rules, they cheat, they rewrite history, and they still losing. Bless their little hearts. You got Karens and Kens watching everything we do like it's a mystery. It ain't no mystery. It's resilience. It's resistance, love, family, community. That's Black culture. That's Black excellence. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have to keep those vests on for a little longer. Because baby, the race ain't over. But they done messed up. They underestimated us. Big mistake. Black history is the movement. Every day. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
So stitch this and tell me something that white people aren't ready to hear.
We white women have an inferiority complex. The Negro women have a sort of reputation for being so beautiful. We're a little jealous of them.
I guess you just envy us colored people.
That Black women were there to support me and to advise me, but not to rise above or become better than me. And that's why when this Black teacher was way better and more talented than me, I felt some kind of way about it. Now, I'd imagine lots and lots more white women have also internalized the same idea, and that's why they feel okay stealing Black women's content and not giving them any credit, because the Black women are just there to advise them anyway. But most Black women are natural leaders.
We're jealous. I think we're jealous because we would love to be that, I think, and we don't know how to break out of the indoctrination that we have been suppressed by our entire life.
Every time I speak about oppression, some white guy somewhere always gotta pop off like, well, what about white people? We're oppressed too. Man, miss me with that weak ass take. You ain't oppressed cause you're white. You might be struggling, sure. You might be broke. You might be in pain, but that ain't because you're white. That's because this system beat the life out of poor folks, sick folks, working folks. White people just happen to fall into those groups too. That don't make whiteness a burden. It makes poverty the common enemy. And let's be real, if white skin was all it took to be oppressed, then explain why the average white household still holds over 6 times the wealth of the average Black household in 2025. That gap hasn't shrunk in decades. It's still alive and well and fed by centuries of theft, redlining, slavery, and Jim Crow. You were born into a system rigged for you, and now that whole machine's breaking down, and you want to pretend you're starting at the same line? Nah. They'll throw one rich Black celebrity or brown CEO in your face like, see, racism's over, but you can't cherry pick the top 0.01% and ignore the rest. One Oprah don't undo 400 years. The median Black household wealth in 2025 is about $24,000. Latino households around $36,000. White households over $150,000. That ain't just a coincidence. That is generational theft. That's the game being rigged from day one. So if you're white and struggling, that ain't whiteness working against you. That's capitalism gutting the working class. Every shade of it. But you still ain't getting profiled in traffic. You still ain't getting schools defunded in your zip code just because you live there. You ain't burying family members from police bullets at the same damn rate. White folks don't carry that burden. You don't carry that fear.
I'm not saying you ain't suffering. I'm saying don't lie about why. Don't confuse your paycheck with your pigment. You're broke because the rich treat labor like garbage, not because the world hates white people. That's not oppression, that's economic violence. And we all need to fight that together. But if you go around acting like your whiteness is a curse, like you're the real victim now, you're not just wrong, you're a part of the problem. James Baldwin said, as long as you think you're white, there's no hope for you. You want power? Link arms with the folks who've had a boot on their necks since before you were born. Quit crying for sympathy over your skin tone. That ain't never been the issue. You're not oppressed for being white. You're oppressed for being poor, disabled, overworked, underpaid, and disposable, just like the rest of us. And until you get that straight, you're fighting shadows while the real enemy keeps winning. So here's the deal. We rise together or we stay crushed alone. I don't care what color your skin is. If you're tired of getting bled dry by the rich, if you're done watching your people die poor while billionaires party, then stand up. Organize, fight like hell, not as white, black, brown, or anything else, but as the people, the workers, the ones they fear when we're united.
Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when black people succeed. The 13th Amendment emancipated enslaved black Americans in 1865, and then the Jim Crow laws kind of wrapped up with the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. So if we do the math, that's about 61 years in which black Americans were able to strive for success in any sort of meaningful way without like the constraints of the law pulling them down. 61 years. If we compare that to white Americans who besieged a land already owned and occupied by indigenous Americans, we'll put that around 1620 when, the Mayflower came here, then that gives them about 425 years to establish success in this country. 425 versus 61. If we compare those two fundamentally very different time spans, how much did white Americans actually do in all that time? If we were to compare even the poorest and most underprivileged of white America to black America generally, it is clear that white Americans are born way past the start line, right? By that I mean, by nature of being white in American society, you do benefit from all sorts of privileges. And to be frank, you're not exhausted by the horrible experience of facing racism on a daily basis, right? You do have a ton of privileges. So I imagine existing in this bubble of privilege that you totally deny. The existence of black people for whom success is like second nature, when it comes so easily and so readily, even though you've only had 61 years to achieve it, I imagine that's exhausting and frustrating. I imagine it makes people feel super, super inferior and hurts certain people's tiny, tiny little egos. And what do they blame that deep, deep psychic pain on? Well, of course, DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action. So I guess the question is, what might help those white Americans who just so strongly detest black excellence? What will help you? And for that, I would suggest a lot of therapy, a ton of therapy. And I would also just suggest that we open the schools, right? We teach people history. Yeah, maybe? Okay, bye!
The truth is, when you shine, despite everything thrown at you, racism, oppression, segregation, it makes people who build their identity on superiority feel insecure. I love the example someone gave about race. Imagine one runner carrying heavy weights on their back while the other one runs free. At first, the one with weights is slower, but over time, they build strength, endurance, and power. Eventually, they overtake the free runner and cross the finish line stronger than ever. That's what black people have done for centuries, turning struggle into strength, pain into power, and oppression into excellence. That's why we shine. No matter the jealousy or fear, we rise above it. That's black excellence. Anyways, credit to the original creators of these clips, and quick disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.